The situation with Mayor Filner, sexual harassment, all of a sudden that story starts to, come to the top of our headlines. Michelle is standing by to talk more about that. Michelle, take it away.
Yes, we've been talking all morning about Mayor Bob Filner and the accusations of sexual harassment surrounding him. That has got us thinking, about sexual harassment in the workplace and how it's evolved over the years, especially in our corporate America. We're joined by UT business columnist Dan McSwain to kind of explain this for us. You wrote a really interesting column today. Can you kind of tell us about it a little bit?
Well, thank you, Michelle. The point of the column was that sexual harassment is a big problem. It can be devastating to the people involved, the victims mostly, but also the corporate culture, the organizational culture, whether it's a military unit, whether it's a big company, whether it's a small construction crew. This can destroy morale, it can destroy productivity, and it can most importantly, really hurt people. And it isn't going away anytime soon. And
you actually drew some comparisons from the past when maybe 30 years ago, if this would have happened, it would have kind of just been pushed under the rug. And maybe in one case, a woman would be fearful for losing her job. So she wouldn't come out and say something that would happen now in our progressive day and age. People are coming out, they're saying things, but how long? I mean, this is all still going on. It's all now coming out. I don't think enough has changed. I think it's still persisting. Do you understand? I feel like nothing is. Maybe that it was brought to the attention of everyone. Maybe now, it'll be a time for change.
Well, we've clearly come a long way. I don't think in the early 1980s or even the early 90s we would have seen that kind of news conference that we saw yesterday, where neighborhood activists, politically powerful people are calling for the resignation of one of their own. That would have been very unusual just 20 years ago. Having said that, although we've come a long way, we have a long way to go. There is still a lot of sexual harassment in the workplace. Researchers aren't quite sure because they're doing surveys. Anywhere from 1/3 to 60% of all women who work report that they've been subjected to intimidation, harassment, creepy behavior of every description. So it's a big problem and it's still out there.
Well, I guess my question is, what justifies as sexual harassment? What is this sexual harassment, or is something like you wrote in your article, very, very obvious indecencies, is that considered sexual harassment? Does it matter from a different basis? I mean, how did you find these surveys? What did you find?
Well, one of the problems is that there's no black and white answer to that.
Exactly.
In fact, the training for sexual harassment for the big companies that are required to have training is a couple hours. So it can be everything from, if you have sex with me, I'll give you a promotion, all the way down to an inappropriate gaze, or creating what they call a hostile environment, a hostile workplace, where you've got racy posters on the walls, or you're telling inappropriate, dirty jokes. Touching is okay as long as it's not inappropriate touching. It's okay to ask somebody out on a date in the workplace, but it's not okay if it's unwanted. The person makes it clear it's unwanted and you keep asking. So a good litmus test is if you feel creeped out, if you feel like it's inappropriate, then you may have been harassed. At that point, you need to ask for the behavior to stop. If it doesn't stop, you need to complain about it.
All right. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in. We're going to keep monitoring this story.